Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeanna.
And I'm Evo.
Happy Friday, Evo.
Happy Friday, Jeanna.
I'm really looking forward to Friday. I've been really looking forward to Friday.
Why is that?
I don't know. It just feels like I had to do a lot of stuff this week. And I feel like when Friday comes, all of the things that we had to do this week, I get like a reset. So I'm looking forward for it to be Friday. And I hope that everyone else has had a great week and that they're also looking forward to Friday, even though the days are kind of different for us, because necessarily Fridays are not the same for us and like maybe somebody that has like a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But I still look forward to it, which is odd. But anyway, so today's episode was sparked off of a video that I saw on TikTok. And it was this gentleman that he was having interaction between him and his girlfriend. And she looked over to him and said, "Babe, do you want to get something to eat?" And he turned around and he started to play the music from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Mm-hmm. And it was like, doot, 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 doot. He was like, okay, that means she definitely wants to eat. So they went back and forth. And basically what the guy did is he kind of broke the girl code. He was able to decipher her little ways of trying to tell him something, but not really tell him something. So I love the video so much because I think it shows young men in a relationship that there are times that you need to be able to kind of sync with your partner in a way that is not something that she's just readily telling you,
or not just looking to like physically sync with your partner, which I think a lot of guys it's their primary objective.
Yeah, I think it's having the ability to pick up on things that maybe she may be hinting at. Mm-hmm. Not that she's necessarily just straight out telling you, because I think sometimes that takes away a little bit of excitement. Also, many women look forward to a man to lead. So with that being said, I thought it would be dope if we talked about a couple of things, more than a couple actually, that men should know how to do when they're in a relationship.
Agreed. I mean, shit, if you don't know what to do when you're in a relationship with your significant other, then I can't imagine it's going to last too long.
And I thought it'd be great for Evo to spearhead this because I want the men in the audience to hear it from another man.
Yeah, I mean, I got a few things that I could dish out. Might be helpful to some people out there. I don't know. I mean, we got almost 2 decades under our belt. I think I know a few things.
I mean, nah.
Oh shit! Damn, to me like that. Well, the first thing that I kind of wanted to discuss was the obvious, right? Well, outside of the obvious of things you should know to do in a relationship, outside of the obvious of like being honest, being loyal, having respect for your woman. I mean, these are all like goes without saying.
Yeah. I said that I consider these baseline.
Yeah, these are baseline
like
things.
You
that
have to have these.
If you're
qualities.
not doing this, then you need to realign yourself. You need to like figure out what relationships are all about.
You should not be in a relationship.
This you need to like automatically bring this to the table. So now that we got that out the way, I think all women can agree that they want their man to be able to know when and where to take them when they're hungry. And I think more importantly, it varies on what time of the month it is, right? Because women have their hormone swings, and there's times of the months where they're just they kind of want to just eat a certain way, but then there's other times of the month where they want to eat like savages.
Mm-hmm. I'm currently in that savage stage,
and the gloves come off, and you better know where to take her, because if not, you might get your head chopped off. Mm-hmm. So I think that that's super important to know. You have to have that. So I think with you, you have a couple of things that you like to eat. Now you're on this Indian food kick where you know, which I love because we love spicy food.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all about going on this ride with you. But yeah, lately Gina's thing has been, you know, taking her to eat Indian food. We got a couple places that we go to, so we can kind of shuffle those around so that we're not always going to the same place and it doesn't get boring.
Yeah, I look at it kind of like a reward too. So I say a reward because Evo and I definitely do live on a budgeted lifestyle.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, we got house, kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's not like we get to go out all of the time and spend money on food outside. So when we do get to go somewhere, that's why I consider it kind of like I treat it as a reward. But yes, I definitely enjoy when Evo can spearhead that interaction.
Mhm.
But why do you think that women want a man to know that? What is it about, other than the fact of knowing where we like to eat? And that's going to give us like the good feeling inside. Why do we want you to know where we like to eat or what we like to eat?
Because it just shows that, you know, that as a man, you've paid attention to the things that the woman likes. It also satisfies something that a woman wants to do without her having to make this a decision to do it. You know, women love to eat and they love to eat good food. And, you know, I think that maybe there's something to the fact that women are like, I don't know. I mean, I think everybody's supposed to kind of watch what they eat, right? But more so like women are kind of like judged, you know, by if they eat too much. And so if a woman is suggesting that like she wants to go all these places to eat, it's like, damn girl, you know, slow down. So if a guy does it, it's like, hey babe, come on, we're gonna go here. She's like, bet, let's go, in the back of her head, you know. In reality, so happy that he suggested, because that's really where she wanted to go, but she didn't want to make it seem like, you know, she just always wants to eat or wants to go to these places to eat. So I would think that has something to do with it.
That is very interesting. I say that because I don't know if you remember, I showed you a video on TikTok one time of a guy that he was doing like a speed dating thing,
Mm-hmm.
and he sat down with a girl and he was like, "What do you like to do for fun?" She was like, "If I'm being real," he was like, "Yeah, for real." She was like, "I like to eat." And he said, "Word?" He said, "Me too." He said, "Can we go right
Yeah.
now?" She was like, "Are you for real?" He
Oh,
said,
yes.
"Yeah." You remember?
I
And they
remember this,
literally
yeah.
got up. He said, "I'm good. I don't
Yeah.
need to see nobody else." They got up and they left and they went to go have something to eat. I think you hit them all on the head when you said that it's about very much so of not necessarily always wanting to make the decision. I would say that I'm one of those women that don't really hold my tongue. We've talked about this before. I really like to, you know, speak the way that I feel. I like to make decisions. I like to lead. But I love to be very vulnerable in our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And you are the person that I want to be the most vulnerable with. So in order for me to be vulnerable with you, there are many times I'm looking for you to lead. And that has been something that I have grown to be better at. But when you do that, I literally become like a kid that is looking for their mommy or their daddy to come take them for ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel so, and we just talked about this on the last episode, I feel so supported and I feel so loved in that moment. I'm just like, oh my God, he knows what I want, and like, let's just go do it. So I love that you knew that answer, because if you did not, I'd have been like, oh man.
Yeah, well,
He
I
just
think by
thinks
now,
it's
I think
because
by
it's
now
the
I
food.
got it. You know, I would
Yeah.
hope so. By now I got it.
Yeah, I love that one. And food is such an essential part in our life as women.
Yes.
Because of what you said in the beginning, our hormonal fluctuations. There are many times that food heals me.
Yeah, like honestly, as a guy, you got to know what time and when y'all need to go split like an order of French fries. You know what I'm saying? because there is a certain time of the month where that like needs to happen, and you need to be able to to go to the fast food place, order some junk food, park your car in the parking lot, split that shit right in the car.
Yeah.
Get down with her because she's hungry. She doesn't want to eat by herself. I don't care what
It
you're
may
going.
be just more than
Yeah,
fries.
it may be just more than fries, right? But
It may be fries, chicken nuggets, and a quarter pounder with cheese with Big Macs.
you just got to make sure you're willing to co-sign her BS.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yes. And at the same time, Evil will do those things with me and then ask me to work out the next day.
Yeah, of course.
But still leading with love.
Yeah,
it's not like, okay, so now that your fat ass ate those chicken nuggets and french fries, now you got to get in the gym. No, it's just like, hey, listen, I know we still have a commitment to something that we're doing. We had fun yesterday with that. It's time to put in the work.
Yeah, well, we're in the off season now, so we're about to loosen the belt up a little bit.
We are, but you know what? I may be rethinking that.
Really?
Yeah, only because I remember last year when I did it, I went ham.
Yeah, I do it every year.
But we're not drinking, so that helps. But then sometimes I say, oh, we're not drinking, and I think about all the calories that I would consume drinking, so then I'm just thinking of all the desserts that I could put in the place of alcohol, which is not good.
Yeah, it's not good.
So I remember last year when January came and, we were in the off season and I looked at myself in January. I was like, man, I got to work really hard for this.
It's terrible. Like, what's next? What are we just going to quit eating? Because we quit vaping. We quit drinking.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, but then it's almost like when you quit these things, you kind of substitute it with something else that's of pleasure, whether it be food or whether it be exercise or something that makes you feel good, right? Because you got to kind of like balance out that void that you've created in your life. And so like now that we're not drinking no more, you're talking about that sometimes you think about how many desserts you can have, right?
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, all right, so what now? We're going to quit eating? I mean, it's a joke, obviously.
I know it's a joke, but I'm sitting here thinking about the ice cream we had the other day.
I know, that shit was so good.
Stop saying.
I know, I'm sorry.
The bad words.
I'm sorry.
We're trying to be clean.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, so moving on from that, I think next is something that every guy should have. I think this next thing is a conversation that every guy should have with their significant other at some point in time. And that is getting to know their love language. I think that this is like a key piece in building a bonding relationship between you and your significant other. It gives you the ability to learn how to speak to them with more than just words. It teaches you how to act in certain ways that it teaches you how to act in certain ways and do certain actions that impacts your partner in a way that you could never even imagine, right? So for those of you who don't know, the love language are 5 meanings of expression. There are words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. And there's a test that you can take or that your partner can take so that you can find out what their love language is. And they're gonna rank in all of them, but it'll rank from the top love language to the second, third, fourth, and fifth, right? And based on how you answer the questions is how you rank in the love language chart. So my number 1 love language is physical touch. And Jeanna's number 1 love language is acts of service. So Jeanna likes, it says that in acts of service, you communicate by using phrases like I'll help, right? And actions that you can take is like doing chores together, or make them breakfast in bed, or go out of your way to help them do something that's a daily chore for them. And I didn't know that these are things that she highly valued before she took the love language test. So prior to that, we were just going about our relationship as two people getting to know each other. But once I found this out about her, I was able to use that and now do things for her that I didn't know that she appreciated in a way that I could never understand. And it made us, it allowed us to be able to understand each other so much better.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she learned that my number one love language was physical touch, and why, then I ended up getting a lot more affection. Now, physical touch doesn't have to be like sex. Like, it could just be hugs, holding hands, some kissing.
And your favorite?
Head rubs. I love head rubs. I'm a baby for head rubs.
And I'm the polar opposite.
But she's the queen of giving head rubs. And she gives the best head rubs. So I think that if you haven't done it in your relationship, it's something that you should definitely consider, because it'll help you understand your partner in a way that you could have never imagined. And I didn't even know about it. Jeanna was actually the one that brought it to my attention.
Yeah.
And so what made you learn about like love language? Because before our relationship, I had no clue that even existed. What made you want to bring that into our relationship? Because you made me take the test.
Yeah.
So how did it come across your radar, and what did that mean to you when you found that?
I was given the book about the love languages at a training event that I went to for leadership.
Oh, okay.
And our boss at the time gave us the test because she wanted to know what our love languages were. And she used it as a tool to learn how to speak to us as managers. So when we were rewarded, she didn't always give us a gift. We didn't just get pizza.
Oh, wow.
So
I never even thought that that's something that you can use in a place of work.
Yeah, and it was really interesting to learn how you can use it when you're trying to show appreciation to a person that is putting in a lot of effort for you. Mm-hmm. So she knew that I liked acts of service. So that meant I wanted her to do something for me. There's a key component, though, in all of the 5 love languages that I think is very important that must be said. When you are doing any of these things, whether it's words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, quality time, acts of service, please make sure that your partner is not requesting these things and then you are giving them to them. These are things that your partner wants you to do for them without it being asked of you. Because if I have to ask Evo to do things for me several times, it actually then feels like it's a chore on myself. And then him doing it just feels like it's being something done to completion, not him doing an act of service. I almost want people to look at it like when you are doing something for charity. You want to go and give your time to something and you're not really looking for something in return. Mm-hmm. And I think it can be applied to any one of those. If your partner's love language is affirmation, words of affirmation, I do not think that your partner wants to say, "Can you tell me I did a good job?"
Yeah, no, because then it doesn't work like that.
If your partner is physical touch, if your partner has to say, "Can you embrace me?" It's going to really whittle them down to feel like you don't really appreciate them and want to show them the love that they really need. But on the flip side of that, because you're speaking 2 different languages, I do believe that there is a space for conversation of compromise of how you can both achieve these types of love languages. Mm-hmm. So for example, Evo, when it comes to head rubs, or when it comes to just any form of physical touch that he enjoys, since it's actually my last love language, mm-hmm. he had to say to me, "Hey, since this is my number 1 love language, these are the ways that I like to receive physical touch so that you know." But then he left the ball in my court.
Yeah. Like it's important to let your partner know, because let's just say your partner takes the test and their number one love language is physical touch, right? Immediately you might think, oh my god, this is like, it's a sexual thing, right? And then
Yes.
you might feel like, oh, like this like you might feel like it's like that's like imposing on you to do something that you may not always want to do. And so no, it's not. And so when I told her that first of all, at the beginning of our relationship, you had your boy in a cobra clutch, right?
Oh
Because
my
Gina used to
God.
give me head rubs like what on a daily basis. And I don't want to say it where like I was like literally getting these head rubs, but she would just always reach over and start playing with my hair, whenever we were home, and it would just be something that she just did automatically, right? And she would start rubbing my head, and I was like, I didn't even know that my love language is physical touch, but it made me so attached to you because you were always giving me this physical touch that I felt more connected to you than I've ever felt with anybody in a very long time. And so once we found this out, I exactly had that conversation with you. Like, listen, it's just, rubbing my head, caressing my face, massaging me, holding my hands, like all those things are just great for me. Even body to body contact, like for us just laying on each other, doesn't have to always be sex. So just know that having a conversation about what these things are is very helpful. So for example, for Gina, her language, her number one love language is acts of service. So she likes me to come downstairs in the morning and make her coffee, right? Especially on the days that she has to go to work and she has to rush out of the door. I'll get up and I'll make her coffee and I'll see her out the door. She has bags. I'll help her carry her bags to the car and load them up in the car for her, no matter what time it is. Sometimes it'd be 5 a.m, whatever times I get up and I do this for her. And those things are more valuable to her than actual gifts.
Like, love you 3000.
Yes. And so, but at first I needed to know these things, right?
Yeah.
Like, you needed to tell me like, hey, I would really love it if you could do this. Like, this would be really great for me. And then from that point on, I'm like, yo, I got this. Because I know your number one love language is acts of service. Gina loves to like go away for work. Well, not go away for work, but she'll work very long hours for 4 or 5 days straight. And like, come home and the house will be clean, right? Because she does a lot of cleaning in the house. And so when she's not here to do it, it can't get just left thrown to the wayside, so I'll pick it up and I'll do it. So she'll come home and a lot of this stuff is done. And again, acts of service, right? I never would have thought that you would appreciate it the way that you do. But it being your number one love language, I can speak to you like that now.
It literally gives me peace of mind. When I get in the car and you've brought the bags in for me and I have coffee to sip on my drive to wherever I'm going, I feel zen in my soul. Because when I don't have those things and I have to walk out of the house and I have 4 bags because of what, I'm a makeup artist. I have 4 sometimes 4 bags, and then try to carry a coffee. I have to make multiple trips. Just you alleviating that stress at the beginning of my day starts my day in such a peaceful space. I'm so appreciative of it. And I find myself sometimes almost not wanting to share that feeling with other people because I come across other people in the same space as me that their partners are not treating them the same ways, and they're coming to work already beginning their day very frustrated. And when I do find other couples that their partners are finding out what their love language is and how to speak to them, I'm elated. It is like one of the best feelings because I know that they're like reaching another level in a relationship. It's like even beyond love. Like you can speak to that person without even saying a word, like you said in the beginning. And one of these other couples is a friend of ours who are also podcasters, and their podcast is called We Still Like Each Other, Stephanie and Travis. And I remember one time in specific, Stephanie said something to me that I was so taken aback by. And she said, my number one love language is physical touch, because I had offered to do her makeup one time. And she said, I would love that because my number one language is physical touch. So the act of someone like doing that to my face is so pleasing to me. I was like, wow, I never thought of that. So you can see how far something that small, because the test may take you like less than 5 minutes to take can mean to your partner, to your friend, or to whoever it is. But in this particular case, we're talking about the person you're in a relationship with.
Yeah. So if you haven't done it, definitely go out and do it. You won't regret it. It'll teach you something about your partner that you definitely didn't know and give you the ability to speak to each other on a level that you haven't had before. All right.
Agreed.
So moving on. This next thing is somewhat of a long time debate amongst relationships all across the world.
Ooh.
And it's the debate of the toilet seat.
Oh,
all right.
Man.
To put the toilet seat up or to put the toilet seat down. Now, I'm just going to come out and say it. All right.
Okay.
Fellas, put the damn seat down. All right. For argument's sake, just put it down. But this is a long time debate. And many couples and many households, right? Do you leave it up? Do you put it down? What's the right thing? What to do? What's the wrong thing to do? Tell me, in your opinion, why is it that you or women in general have a problem with the toilet seat being left up after a man is using it, right? Man comes in, lifts the toilet seat up so he doesn't urinate on top of the toilet seat. Consideration for the woman, so that she can come by later and set it down and it'll be urine free, right? What's the problem with the toilet seat being left up?
Okay. Thank you for asking me this, because I've been dying to talk about this. So, couple reasons. First and foremost, it's a hygiene thing.
How so?
That tells me as a woman that if you use the bathroom and the toilet seat remains up, that means that you have flushed the toilet with the toilet seat up. So if you have went anyone, whether it was one or two, that means that, and I think if you don't know this, that when you flush, particles flow out of the toilet. So
yes,
that tells me that you are lacking the knowledge of hygiene when it comes to using the toilet.
And there are scientific studies on this, right? This is not something that's just kind of, being made up.
And if it's a bathroom that you are sharing a space with your partner with, or your girlfriend, then that means that she and you have things in that bathroom that these particles can get on. So,
and if you have one of those setups, right, where the toilet is right next to the sink where the toothbrushes are and the soap and the bar soap that you wash your hands with, and maybe the washcloth you wash your face with, maybe some makeup brushes and stuff like that, yeah, there's definitely a good chance that mist is flying up out of the toilet and coming down and just getting all over your stuff, just settling in there real nice.
So the second thing is, that's how the toilets are designed. They are meant to be closed. They are not meant to remain up. That's really clear cut. And the third, this may be my reason, but I've talked to other women about this and they will concur. If the toilet seat, both of the lids go up, which a lot of men will do when they have to pee, and then it remains up in the middle of the night when a woman has to go use the bathroom, because we always have to sit down, and you're half asleep and you don't accurately look at the toilet, you can fall into the toilet.
So, but in the same one could argue that in the same situation, a man wakes up in the middle of the night and he's half asleep and he's got to remember to lift up the toilet seat because it's always down. So, I mean, is that really an argument that, you should be looking at where you're sitting?
Yes, I can look, but if it's dark, and you have to remember, many toilets in this day and age are white, and the seat covers are also white. So you may look at it and it may look like the rim part of it is down.
But technically speaking, the whole thing should be down, right? So
yes.
So as a woman, you should be coming to at least lift up the seat so you can sit down, right? You should never be coming and just, in full swing, not looking to go sit on a toilet that you haven't looked at.
One of the main factors I just explained is that you're half asleep. Secondly, if this is already a debate between you and your partner leaving the toilet seat up and down, you may just be like, this is what he does all the time. So the toilet seat is probably already open.
Yeah.
So that's the third reason. But primary is the thing about the hygiene. I think you are supposed to close the toilet when you flush. So that means that the toilet should always be closed.
So what if you have one of those bathrooms that like it's a separate room for the toilet, where it's just a toilet in a room, even with a door, because you know how they have those sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still a hygiene issue?
Yeah, because it's still splattering like outside of the toilet. That means it could still go on the floor. You may walk into your bathroom barefoot. And if you got that kind of money, maybe you got a cleaning person. I don't know.
Fellas. I'm trying to put up an argument
No.
here, but I'm not. It's not happening. It's really, I'm losing here terribly, because I know just men do it, right? And so I'm just trying to see if there's like a legitimate reason why men would just be like,
I do appreciate men lifting it to go to the bathroom so that they don't get urine all over the toilet seat where I sit. That is appreciated, but I think it would take you an additional millisecond to put it down.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely does, right? Because I know this, because I put it down for you all the time. But I know that in the beginning of our relationship, that was a hot topic, we'll call it. Because your boy used to leave it up, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's understood if you came from a space where you had your own bathroom.
Yeah, I had my own bathroom.
So you lived in a house where you didn't have to share a bathroom with the opposite sex. So I could see how maybe you developed a habit that it just rolled over into when we lived together. And I then had to say to you, hey, this is not going to work for us. That's the part of the communication. And I think it took you a little bit to understand why it was so important.
Yeah, well, and in addition to that, like, when you work, like, when I had to shop, with my father, there was no, in that bathroom, there was no,
there wasn't even a cover.
No, it was just it was the part where you could sit down, like that was there, but there wasn't like the top lid where it closed it. So.
I remember so many times going to the shop and having to use the bathroom, and you say, "Oh, you can use the bathroom," and I'd be like, "I'm good." Absolutely not.
All right, so that answers that question. I just kind of wanted to put that out there because I know it is a hot topic amongst.
Were you trying to like debate this with me?
No, I mean not really. I just kind of I kind of wanted to get your opinion on it, and from a woman's standpoint, for anybody out there who is kind of going through this with their significant other, where they're in a space like we were at one point, where we're like up, down, down, up, just know that just put the damn thing down.
Thank you.
All right.
You heard it here.
Yeah. All right, and I got one more thing.
Okay.
Lastly, this right here is something you got to look out for, like seriously, and that's when you go to your woman and you ask her, "Hey, you hungry?" "Yeah, sure, I'm hungry. You want to eat Chinese food?" And she goes, "Yeah, I don't mind." Understand that you have now been put into a test, all right? That "I don't mind" means everything but "I don't mind." It means I do mind, right? It means I know exactly what I want. It isn't Chinese food. It isn't what you said, but I want to see if you actually in this moment really know what is it that I want. Because if you don't, and you suggest something that I don't like, you're going to get a, yeah, that's fine, or a whatever. And if you get a, yeah, I'm fine, or a whatever, just know that you failed miserably at knowing what it is that your woman could possibly want. So, and there's a ton of these, right? These are what I call hidden languages of the woman code that you need to learn. Learn them well so that you can survive the long game with you and your significant.
You said survive.
Survive the long game, because if not,
guys out here dying.
Yeah, you're gonna get slaughtered. Like you're gonna like just look out for that. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. All right, just know that those words mean you failed epically at whatever it is that you're trying to suggest.
Okay, so how is one to figure out these hidden languages that women have? So, how is it they're supposed to do this with their partner?
I mean, you just have to take note. You have to take note on the things that when they say they like things, when they're talking about things that they've done with their friends, how much they really enjoyed it, places that they've gone to, there is a so you have told me something that was a gem, is that your woman more than likely has a Pinterest. And on this Pinterest, she has everything north of her everything north of her biggest wishes on things that she wants to do or loves, wants, have, must, needs, likes, all that stuff is somewhat pinned into her profile. That is like a secret map, blueprint, if you may, of like all the things that she's just wanting to attain that she hasn't gotten yet. It's all on her to-do list. Things that she wishes that she could have at some point, right? And you can just go in there and just cherry pick any of them and pull that out of at a moment like that. Hey, baby, you may want Mexican, right? You may want Mexican, and you're like, babe, you want to eat Mexican? And she goes, yeah, I don't mind. That right there, that's when you know you got to go to the Pinterest. At that moment is when you got to realize, nope, that's not it. It's definitely not Mexican. And then go into something that she has pinned, whether it be cocktails at a certain place for a certain drink. You better find out where it's at and take her to go get it. A dessert maybe in there that she's, has that she wants to try. A dish, find out where that dish is at. Do a great review, a review search on that restaurant. Make sure it's a good restaurant that has like nice ambiance. These are things that you can do to kind of pull yourself out of that situation, redeem yourself, if you may, and come out winning. Because, just remember, if she doesn't seem like she's too convinced on Mexican and you suggest something else and she's like, yeah, whatever, that's it, bro. You're done. You might just not go nowhere.
So would you say that this goes beyond food?
Yeah, I think it goes beyond food. I think it goes.
So could you give me another example of a time where you may want to suggest something to your woman and you could possibly get that response?
If you want to go to a movie, if you want to go to a certain event. Am I getting warm?
Yeah, I mean, definitely movie, definitely event. There's one other thing that I think is quite big of a time that you may event, yeah, but I'm thinking more like, I'm just going to tell you, like if you want to go away.
Yes. That's a big one.
For a man to be able to decipher where his woman may want to go without her having to tell him, by picking up on cues, because that's what we're talking about. This hidden language are cues that your woman are giving you, and this is like the art of love and the art of like love language, and not necessarily in the sense that we were talking about, like just learning to understand your partner in the way where it's like it's a skill. And this skills are something that you have to develop over time. So I don't want anyone to feel like, oh my God, tomorrow I need to know all of these things. But in order to develop a skill, you need to put in time. You need to put in work. You need to research. You need to read. You need to be hands-on with it. There is something that I want to give people a tip on Pinterest and something else after that. But if you go into Pinterest and you type your partner's name and you write core next to it, I don't know how this works, but it works. Pinterest will bring up an array of photos of what is your partner's core aesthetic. It's insane. Because I did it for myself and it brought up all of these things. It brings up sceneries. It brings up places. It brings up. So I'm going to give you some examples of like what my photos looked like. It was showing the redwood forest. It was showing sunflowers. It was showing like kind of dark looking characters.
It's kind of scary.
It
to know that it would be able to pull that much data off of you and put together some type of, profile on you.
Yes.
On your core aesthetics.
Yes. So if you really want to get to know your partner at the core, you can do this, and it may help you to understand places, person, place, or thing that they may like. I feel like that's a little bit of a hack.
Yeah.
The other one is, if you can, take a peek into your partner's social media. I can't tell you, if you were just able to see without prying, but like me and Evo, we take each other's phones all the time. Evo could literally take my phone and he could be on Instagram for 20 minutes and I wouldn't even care. If you can do that with your partner, if you have that kind of relationship, take a look at some of the pages that they follow, just to really get an idea, because you'd be surprised to find out maybe how many food pages they're following, or food bloggers, or maybe fashion pages, or other people that they're trying to gain knowledge from. I find out so many of the information that I'm looking for through social media. Like, I may find a new book that way. You'd be surprised how we use these devices every day. So a lot of our personal information is going into these devices. So these devices, these apps are designed to curate something for us. So if you're looking for that little like tap in, to like almost kind of like Matrix, like for your partner, this is where you could find some of this information if you have access. And then the last one, to understand these cues, look at their music. So if you were to open my Spotify, you would learn so much about me.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, but how does that translate into the cues?
So if you were trying to figure out things that your partner may enjoy, right, and the ways that they may say things. Prime example, I listen to a lot of music with no words. Mm-hmm. I listen to like a lot of classical. I listen to like a lot of soundtracks, right? So why do I like to listen to that kind of music? Can you tell me why? Not to put you on the spot,
no,
but because I may have never verbalized it.
I know you like to listen to that stuff when you're concentrating.
Yeah. So let's say we need to do something. And you say to me, hey, I want to go to this place, right? And it's got all this noise. You want to go there?
Definitely not.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So if you can understand how it is that I like to function, if you can figure out how your partner likes to function, then you can put them in environments, lead them into environments that really fit their core aesthetic. But the hacks is like, finding out where they put their, like where they're putting their personality. Like they're putting their personality on social media, or they're putting it into their Spotify. Like me, you would know so much about me.
I can't imagine how many guys are out there like, that's a lot of work.
I would agree.
It can be.
But a relationship is work.
Yes, it is.
Anything that is really, what's the cliche saying? Anything that's worth fighting for. Anything that's worth something is worth fighting for. Is that how the saying goes?
I like to reference Paul Mooney in my own words, and I always say is everybody want to be in a relationship, but nobody want to be in a relationship.
Yeah, it takes any real goal that you want to achieve in life is going to take work to achieve that goal. And anyone knows when you don't put in the work, you don't achieve that goal. So if your goal is to have a healthy relationship, to have a fun, loving relationship, then you're going to have to put in the work. And that's the way that equation works. And for anyone that thinks that equation works differently, they're going to find themselves in a relationship that is the opposite of all the things that I just said. Mm-hmm. Would you think that I was wrong in saying that?
No, I agree with you 100%.
But in turn, if the guys are thinking that that's a lot of work, just know that one, your woman is going to appreciate this so much. And if even if it's the same sex couple, same thing, your partner is going to appreciate this so much. And Evo can tell you, we do this for each other. Mm-hmm. So it's not like Evo is just going, oh, wow, I know where Jeanna wants to eat, and if I take her, she's going to be so happy. Yes, of course, but I do the same thing for him. Mm-hmm. I figure out the things that Evo likes to wear, the places Evo likes to eat, the type of things he likes to do, and I make sure that I curate experiences for us to go do those type of things.
and regular head rubs.
That sounded completely not what I thought you were going to say. Whoa.
What do you think I was going to say?
You said and regular.
Yeah, well, that too. That helps.
Oh my God. That was your last one, right?
Yeah, that was it.
Whoa, let's go to the cards.
All right.
Oh man. I was like, whoa, just now.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna take a dark purple today.
Really? Because that yellow is jumping out at you.
I took yellow last time.
You did.
I keep my cards, my old cards, right here on the table next to me, so I know which ones I picked.
I'm due for a green one. Okay, you go.
I can't believe I picked this card. And what's your favorite meal and why?
What's my favorite meal and why?
You're just talking about this today.
You know, I don't verbalize this much, but this by far has to be the most the one thing that I've returned to eat the most. Outside of regular stuff, right? Like outside of you go pizza, you eat pizza a lot, things like that. I'm talking about a specific dish, right?
This is your favorite meal.
This is my favorite meal that I don't eat often. Like I have to go to a certain place and eat it, and
I know what it is.
And I've been there the most. I've returned for this meal more so than I've returned for any other meal in any other place, and it's a steak. It's called the bife de chorizo, and I've gone back to this restaurant and I've had it so many times. It is a very thick piece of steak that is cooked in a way where you can cut it with a butter knife, and they serve it to you. It's just a piece of meat on a steak. Like there's nothing else you eat with it. And I would have to say that is the most memorable thing that I've eaten. Second to that would be the Wagyu beef burger that you had. That
your favorite meal? Okay.
What'd you think it was?
I thought it was fettuccine alfredo.
So, fettuccine alfredo I like, right? But there's just so many different variations of it. It gets made so many different ways or so many places. Yes, I love it, but it's very rare that I'll have it in a place where it's really good and it's memorable.
When I had it, I remember when I ordered it at that Italian restaurant, and you were like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, my father used to make it for me, and so
that's why I thought it was your favorite.
And my father owned a restaurant at one point, and he made it. He was very particular about the way that he made it, so I was accustomed to that, and it was very hard for me to find it in places. So when I found something that was close, I really enjoyed it because it reminded me of what my father used to make me. But if we're talking about a dish that is served at a place where I can't get it anywhere else, I have been back to this restaurant so many times for that steak. It is unbelievable.
Okay.
So your question is, when you experience stress or overwhelm, how do you like to be supported?
Acts of service. I want you to just do a lot of the things that I cannot handle.
So that helps you alleviate your stress when you're feeling overwhelmed?
Yeah. So if I'm feeling overwhelmed or I'm feeling stressed, I will literally say to you, I can't do this. You've seen me do it so many times. Like, for example, prime example, let's say I cook dinner and the stuff has to get put away and I'm feeling overwhelmed or stressed. I will literally say to Evo, I cannot do this. I need to go upstairs. I'm going to take my tea and go upstairs. And he knows what's up.
Yeah. I'm like, all right.
He's doing that.
Go ahead, go do you. I got this. I think that about wraps up our show for today.
It does. I just thought that it was interesting, the two cards that we got. It was almost kind of like, that's kind of like what we were talking about, but like, that was weird. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the show. It was always a pleasure talking to you, Evo.
Always a pleasure.
Until next week on Spark Talk Fridays, where we are creating conversations about life. Yo, peace out.
Peace out.